This is a story about the death of Marjory Hopkins. She was a 91-year-old woman who lived alone with her cats. She decided to buy the small cottage in a place called Hollow Copse, near to Mallow Lane. When she retired at the age of 66, as she was a postmistress, she was fortunate enough to save a certain amount of money, and with her pension she was able to eventually rent the cottage. And a stroke of luck, an old friend died and left her a certain amount of money, where she used to buy the cottage. Well, it was on the night of the full moon when Marjory was woken abruptly from her sleep, and she could sense something or someone was in her bedroom. Now, her cottage was all on one floor, and so she realised that whoever was in her cottage at the time let themselves in the main door, the front door. Because she's very sensitive, she couldn't feel any drop in temperature in her bedroom. And because she realised that, she didn't hear any smashing of glass, as in a pane of window being broken to enable this intruder, this intrusive individual, to enter into her home unwanted. And she decided to slowly get out of bed and put a dressing gown on, and she reached for a walking stick. Now, being 91 years old and very frail, you move very slowly, and she decided to reach for something that was given to her by an old friend, which was made of metal, and she felt would protect her. So she walked towards the bedroom door, opened it, and the light was on in the hallway. And from what she could see, all the rooms was alight except her bedroom. She slowly walked along the hallway, and her temperature dropped, as if she's just climbed into a deep freezer. An eerie sensation gripped her body. The hairs on the back of her head stood up, as if something foreboding was awaiting her presence. Then, as she got halfway, the lights in the hallway blew, and as this was the full moon, which was shining through the window of the main front door, it placed and lit up a dark figure which appeared around 9 feet tall. She realised this was a spectre, a phantom, something dark and sinister from the underworld. She had encountered this thing before, because she realised it was from her nightmares that she'd been experiencing on and off since moving into this cottage, although she didn't realise at the time that it was haunted, because no one mentioned it. She realised this presence that's standing before her, motionless, lifeless, awaiting her arrival, so to speak, as if to devour her, to rip her body into pieces and slowly roast it over some oak fire deep in the woodland behind her home, maybe an abandoned decaying abbey once used for black mass rituals. She froze in her steps. She couldn't move. She just looked at this spectre, this phantom. And what happened next horrified her. it began walking slowly towards her, and its tail and its wings were slowly moving to give the impression it's about to fly towards her. The next thing she realised that she's tied up, shackled so to speak, handcuffed to chains which are embedded in the concrete brick wall, because she now finds herself in a damn dungeon below her, what she can only assume is her cottage. But obviously it's not, because she can hear running water. And the running water is also dripping as well. And there's a light on, a dim light. And to her right she can see another phantom, a spectre. And it's sharpening what she can only assume is a blade. She realises her death is imminent, and this is the abode of some dark beast that shall feed off her and feast to her. Then it appeared. It began sniffing at her, and a wet tongue licked her neck. She then looked to her left, but she needed to look to her left, so she slowly, with her eyes closed, turned, and this horned beast was looking directly at her. And it was licking its right index finger, because she felt a sharp pain on her neck. And as this beast, its right index finger was long and sharp with its nail, had pierced her neck, and it was licking its finger, and it's dipping its finger into her neck. It was just become bloody. And it opened its mouth. She saw fangs, sharp razor fangs. Now there's two. Then she could look up at the ceiling, and she'd realised they had unshackled her, and now she's laying on this large wooden slab, or was it a concrete slab? And now there's another one, another phantom, another beast. And she realises that she's a 91-year-old woman in a dream, but in reality, outside this dream, she's 25. She's experiencing these dreams, these nightmares, since moving into this cottage, because she's not a postmistress. She's a solicitor who has retired through disability. And all these nightmares are occurring as if she is a 91-year-old woman, a postmistress who's retired. And she finds herself naked in her original body of 25 years old, a woman of intellectual mind, quick thinking. And she pondered over what was about to happen. And she recalled meeting a grey sorcerer many, many years ago. And as she'd done her favour for this grey sorcerer, she was rattling her brain trying to remember the name of this grey sorcerer and what he told her. If she was ever in need of his help, she is to call upon him, pronounce a name, shout a name, scream a name, and he would come running, so to speak. He would come to her aid. He also stated that if he could not come himself, he would send something, a dark, foreboding figure that dwells in the abode of mankind's nightmares. And she couldn't remember the name. Then these three phantoms, these three spectres, these three beasts, but one held her by her left shoulder, one held her by her right shoulder, and the third, the long, double-edged, thin blade He placed it between her breasts, and as it pressed the blade into her chest itself, she felt the piercing pain and the blood flow. And she remembered. She shouted, "Charo! Charo! Charo!" And in an instant, something had arrived in the room, this torture chamber that these three phantoms, these spectres, these beasts were about to torture and eat her raw. It had destroyed all three. It had ripped them from limb to limb. And the torture chamber that they had prepared her to torture her in was bloody. There were flesh hanging from the ceiling, horns and tails and wings, as if all three had exploded. For this cherub had came on behalf of the grey sorcerer, and dealt with the possibility of dying that very night. So her name isn't Marjory Hopkins. Her name is unknown, for these are nightmares, and I am SV Dagon. I hope you've enjoyed. Who knows? I may visit you one night. Goodbye.